Hey guys, doing a Dell Inspiron power button fix today. My company Pomeroy Computing does this for $69 parts and labor. And this one needs to be totally taken apart for the most part, and you want to remove the battery, and second, remove the two screws that hold the bottom panel into place. You can remove that bottom panel. And this one already had the hard drive removed, so just removing the hard drive cable. It's a flip up, flip down lock connection. And then now the Wi-Fi card can be removed. You just pry it up a little bit and it comes out. Take off the two wireless leads. And then I'm taking off the speaker cable. Just kind of pry that out, one side with your thumb and the other side with the flathead tip. And now I'm taking out the screws that are underneath that bottom panel. Next, you can remove the optical drive. It's held in by one screw and then it just slides out. And then there's three screws underneath that optical drive that need to be removed as well. And the next step is to remove the bottom screws. There's two in the corner and one in the other corner. Those need to be removed. And then the next step is to take the three screws that are underneath the battery out. And once everything is removed, you can take a pry tool on this one and remove the bottom panel. But what I'm going to do first here is take off the keyboard. It's held in by some little tabs that you press in on the tab. And then you can kind of lift after you've pressed that tab and lift underneath the keyboard. Once all those tabs are recessed properly, you can remove that keyboard. It's held in by a ribbon cable and a backlight cable, which is the flip up, flip down lock and unlock style connector. So that can be removed, and then here I'm removing the power button cable. Looks like someone tried their own fix on this one. That's the optical drive cable and the touchpad cable that's being removed next. And the next step is to remove the screws that are underneath the keyboard. And now that those screws under the keyboard are removed, we can remove the bottom panel. And I like to use a guitar pick as my pry tool. It gets in that crack really easily. And then you just go around the bottom case, just kind of undoing the tabs that hold that bottom case into place. So I just try to go around the whole bottom, and then as soon as you loosen it up enough, that bottom will come off. You kind of need to give it a little bit of force, but it'll come up. Just be careful when you're pulling on it. And so now that that bottom case is off, we have access to unscrew the power button little circuit board. So I remove that circuit board and then feed the cable through to get that off. So that's our old power button that's really sticky when you try to press it. It doesn't come on. It's just gotten worse and worse, and it just needs to be replaced. It seems to just fail over time. And so this is the new power button board and cable. And you got to make sure you get the right one for these Dell Inspirons. There's a couple different revisions, and model styles that they're not all the same. So you can check your model just by searching the model number and power button. Make sure you get the right one. Now this cable has to be routed like the other one. You can kind of take the old existing cable there and try to crimp it or fold it the way that one is so it goes through properly. So right here I'm trying to fold it just the way the old one was. And I like to take some electrical tape. You can use whatever tape you want, but you want to tape that down so it doesn't go anywhere. Because you don't want that cable flopping around in there when you try to put your optical drive back in, it can damage it. And you want to make sure to put that bottom case back on when you're going to flip it over. The hinge area for these Dell Inspiron laptops is pretty, pretty weak. And if you open it and shut it without having that support on it, you can damage the hinge area or the casing. So you just want to be careful with that thing when you open and shut it. So now that it's flipped back over to the other side, you can fold the cable again so that blue tab part is up on top, or whatever color that it ends up being. You want to have the ribbon cable correctly when you put it in the socket there. And it looks like this side's going to have to be taped as well. But you kind of have to play with it just to get it folded correctly and seated in there correctly. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty, but it just needs to be in there solid.